You know what is interesting about extremely intelligent people? They often do not look intelligent in the way people expect. They are not always the loudest person in the room. They do not always answer first, and they may spend more time questioning themselves than impressing anyone else. The psychology of people with extremely high IQ is more complicated than a list of genius habits. No behavior proves that someone has a high IQ. Intelligence is measured with standardized tests, and personality, culture, education, and experience matter too. But research does show that cognitive ability overlaps with some everyday patterns. Here are 10 that are far more revealing than showing off what you know. Number 1. They protect time for uninterrupted thought. Some highly intelligent people enjoy social life. Others need more solitude. The important pattern is not isolation. It is the ability to be alone without immediately needing stimulation from other people. One study found an unusual association between intelligence, socializing, and life satisfaction, although the effect was small and correlational. The useful idea is simpler. Complex thinking often needs quiet. Number 2, curiosity becomes a habit. They do not only collect facts, they want mechanisms. Why did that happen? What assumption is hidden here? What would change the answer? Psychologists call one related trait need for cognition, the tendency to enjoy effortful thinking. A recent meta-analysis found small to moderate associations between need for cognition and several measures of intelligence. Curiosity is not IQ, but the two can travel together. Number 3, they think outside their head. Sometimes that means talking to themselves. Sometimes it means writing on paper, sketching a model, or explaining an idea aloud. This can look strange until you realize what is happening. A complicated thought becomes easier to inspect when it is turned into language. The goal is not to sound clever. It is to reduce the load on working memory and make the problem visible. Number 4, they can say, "I don't know," without feeling destroyed by it. This may be one of the strongest habits on the list. Real cognitive strength does not require pretending certainty. A good thinker knows the difference between evidence, probability, and opinion. The more complicated a subject becomes, the more valuable that distinction is. And notice how different this looks from the stereotype. The person who sounds certain about everything may look intelligent. The person who pauses and says, "I need more information," may actually be using better judgment. Number 5. They change their mind when the model fails. Intelligent thinking is not the ability to defend the same belief forever. It is the ability to update. New evidence arrives. A prediction fails. A contradiction appears. Instead of protecting the ego, the better habit is to ask, "What did I miss?" Number 6. They notice patterns across different subjects. A conversation reminds them of economics. A business problem resembles something from biology. A historical event changes how they interpret a modern trend. This kind of connection-making is one reason highly engaged thinkers often have interests that look unrelated from the outside. Their mind is not storing separate boxes. It is building a network. Number 7. They can enjoy complexity without needing an immediate answer. Most people feel some pressure to close an open question. Intelligent people are not magically free from that pressure, but many strong thinkers learn to tolerate uncertainty longer. They can hold two competing explanations in mind without rushing to choose the one that feels best. Number 8. They observe before they speak. Not always. Some brilliant people think out loud, but others delay their response because they are collecting context. Who is speaking? What is being assumed? What information is missing? Silence can look like disengagement when it is actually evaluation. Number 9. Their humor often depends on connections. Humor is not a secret IQ test, and funny people are not automatically smarter. But research on humor production has found links between cognitive ability and the ability to generate humorous ideas. That makes sense. A good joke often requires you to recognize a pattern, break the expected pattern, and connect two ideas quickly. If you enjoy psychology that separates real patterns from flattering myths, subscribe, because the final habit is the one that matters most. There is another reason this matters. Intelligence tests capture important cognitive abilities, but they do not measure the whole person. Motivation changes whether ability gets used. Knowledge changes what someone can do with it. Conscientiousness affects whether an idea becomes finished work. Social skill affects whether insight can be shared. That is why two people with similar cognitive ability can look completely different in daily life. And this also explains why internet lists become misleading so quickly. A habit may be statistically associated with intelligence without being exclusive to intelligent people. Plenty of average IQ people love solitude, question assumptions, make great jokes, or change their minds. Psychology deals in tendencies and probabilities, not secret signs that certify identity. Number 10. They are less attached to looking intelligent than to finding out what is true. This is where intelligence becomes useful instead of theatrical. A person can have enormous cognitive ability and still be biased, defensive, careless, or arrogant. IQ does not protect anyone from being human. The strongest thinkers build habits that correct for that. They ask for criticism. They search for disconfirming evidence. They notice when pride enters the argument, and sometimes they deliberately choose the sentence that insecure intelligence hates most. I was wrong. So if several of these habits sound familiar, do not turn this video into a diagnosis or an online IQ test. Spending time alone does not prove intelligence. Overthinking does not prove intelligence. Staying up late does not prove intelligence. Even curiosity by itself does not prove intelligence. The more interesting pattern is how a person handles complexity. Do they keep learning? Can they revise a belief? Can they separate confidence from evidence? Can they stay curious when being right would feel better? That is why the psychology of people with extremely high IQ is often quieter than the stereotype. Intelligence is not only visible in the answers someone gives. Sometimes it is visible in the questions they refuse to stop asking, the uncertainty they are willing to tolerate, and the speed with which they can admit that reality just taught them something new. If you want more psychology that separates real cognitive patterns from viral myths, subscribe and tell me which habit you think people misunderstand most.